Freelee the Banana Girl is a diet and wellness influencer on social media and YouTube. Her TikTok bio uses the word nutritionist. And I want to talk about this title and why Freelee's use of this title is potentially harmful. Freelee's eating philosophy is that humans are frugivores. What the heck is that, you might ask? Think of how a carnivore eats only meat and a herbivore eats only plants and an omnivore eats both. Frugivores, according to Freelee, eat primarily fruits. Some internet searching suggests that an animal is considered to be a frugivore if at least 50% of its diet comes from fruit. This is the diet that Freelee preaches. However, unlike other raw vegan influencers, she does allow for some cooked foods as long as they're plants and low in fat. She also recommends that people keep their total fat intake below 10%. This is total fat, by the way, not just saturated fats as per the guidelines by the World Health Organization. This is not only extremely difficult to do because of the relative caloric density of fat, but also because the human body needs between 20 and 30% of calories to come from fat for healthy endocrine function. Freelee's protein recommendations are also 10% or lower, so in order to achieve these absurd macronutrient ratios, you would need to be eating fruit, starches, and vegetables all day. No healthy fats, not even plant-based proteins like legumes and soy. Now let's address the nutritionist title that Freelee uses. Unlike a registered dietitian, some countries or states have little to no requirements for a nutritionist to hold a degree or a diploma or any kind of accreditation. So depending on where an influencer lives, they can just put nutritionist in their bio along with a handy disclaimer that their recommendations are not medical advice. Unfortunately, the line between recommending a particular diet and practicing medicine without a license is not fixed, especially in the social media space. And Freelee is dangerously close to crossing this line, with her Instagram bio stating that she helps women over 40 reverse insulin resistance. I want to point out that stating that your dietary advice is not medical advice doesn't give you a free pass to say that your diet is the healthiest way to eat just because it ostensibly works for you. This, by the way, is Freelee's standard response to criticism of her extremely low fat and high sugar recommendations. Her Instagram reel from May 2025, titled "How Am I Not Diabetic?" claims that her chronic high sugar consumption doesn't cause diabetes, but that excess fat does. Well, congratulations, Freelee! Somehow you won the genetic lottery for not developing diabetes despite drinking sugar-sweetened water on a regular basis. That's not going to be the case for everyone else. Freelee is right in that having an excess of body fat can increase the risk of diabetes because it makes the pancreas work harder to pump insulin into the bloodstream after a meal, but she's missing the point that consuming chronically high amounts of sugar blunts the cell's sensitivity to insulin. I learned that in exercise physiology class, so I've no idea how Freelee came to her conclusions about sugar and started calling herself a nutritionist. Finally, it's worth mentioning that Freelee is by no means an isolated case of influencers, wellness gurus, or even personal trainers who make their own diet the center of their brand. No doubt there are carnivore diet, keto, and vegan influencers, some of who call themselves nutritionists, yet the irony here is that their knowledge is limited to that of the foods they eat, perhaps some macro counting and throwing in a workout plan or two. But being an expert in one diet doesn't make someone a nutritionist. University study of nutrition requires students to consider all facets of nutrition, including how different environments affect access to healthy food. It takes years for a student to learn about these facets of nutrition, yet it takes minutes for a self-appointed nutritionist to broadcast how their diet is the best, gain a following, and profit from their potentially harmful messages.